Today is the 18th of December, and today's devotional is taken from Psalms 118:27. God is the Lord which has showed us light. The psalmist was clearly possessed of light, for he says, God is the Lord which hath showed us light. He was evidently then possessed of light, and this light was in him as the light of life. This light had shone into his heart. The rays and beams of divine truth had penetrated into his conscience. He carried about with him a light which had come from God. In this light he saw light, and in this light he discerned everything which the light manifested. Thus by this eternal light he knew what was good and what was evil, what was sweet and what was bitter, what was true and what was false, what was spiritual and what was natural. He did not say this light came from creature exertion. This light was the produce of my own wisdom. This light was nature transmuted by some action of my own will, and thus gradually rose into existence from long and assiduous cultivation. But he ascribes the whole of that light which he possessed unto God the soul, Lord, as the sole author and the only giver of it. Now if the Lord God has ever showed you and me the same light which he showed his servant of old, we carry about with us more or less a solemn conviction that we have received this light from him. There will indeed be many clouds of darkness to cover it. There will often be doubts and fears hovering like mist and fogs over our souls, whether the light which we have received be from God or not. But in solemn moments when the Lord is pleased a little to revive his work at times and seasons, when he condescends to draw forth the affections of our heart into himself, to bring us into his presence, to hide us in some measure in the hollow of his hand and give us access unto himself. At such moments and seasons we carry about with us, in spite of all of our unbelief, in spite of all the suggestions of the enemy, in spite of all doubts, fears, and suspicions that rise from the depths of the carnal mind, in spite of all these counterworkings and underminings, we carry about with us at these times a solemn conviction that we have light, and that this light we have received is from God. And why so? Because we can look back to a time when we walked in no such light, when we felt no such light, when everything spiritual and heavenly was dark to us and we were dark to them. J.C. Philpot, 1802 to 1869. Well, that's certainly been my experience. I know I can remember the time when I believed that God revealed this light to me in my soul, and the light was the reality that he had died for me, and he had paid the price on the cruel cross of Calvary for my sins, and that this great work that he had done would suffice for the wrath of God against me in the work of his substitutionary atonement. May God be with you this day, and blessings.